going out with our single friends is hard. And then going out with our friends that are married or our couples is also hard because you just feel like you don't fit in either place.
After nearly 35 years behind bars, both Eric and Lyle Menendez went before the California Parole Board for the very first time, and they were both denied by the parole board. At what point do we stop defining someone by the worst thing that they did and we start looking at everything that happened after the fact?
Trump is now looking at prisons that have shut down in states. They're looking at the closed prisons because, for a long time we had started shrinking the prison population. Now he wants to refill these prisons with immigrant detainees.
You got to be able to communicate with these relationships because that's all we have.
We want to talk about how Paige and I met and started this whole thing. We wanted to take a walk down memory lane today.
This is for the prison wife. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold.
Well, last night was great. I had a great time with our monthly thing that we do to get together, everybody in our support group, Love Within Walls. We had our paint and sip last night, and it was so cool to see everybody like doing something different. Like one person was scrapbooking. I know you and I were painting. A couple people were coloring, doing their coloring books. So it was just really cool, and we had a really good time. And I mean, I was laughing my ass off all night. Some of the girls just cracked me up. I told Paige that last night, how fun it was, and it was just nice to kick it. And then one lady, I think, even made the comment like, oh, like I have to go, my husband's calling me. And we're like, girl, go get that phone. Like, we get it. Like, and she was saying how, a lot of her friends and her friend group don't understand that, or they ask a lot of questions and stuff like that. So I just thought it was a really great time. And then to have people new, obviously, that were coming in that had never done this before, share their struggles and share, little things, little idiosyncrasies that their friend group might give them flack for. But we're like, girl, not a big deal. Like, just go, like, you can come back. Like, we'll be here, So take that call. Like, don't stress out, that kind of thing. And it's sad that people get that, that they get flack for taking calls, when they don't realize that, I guess a lot of the time that, you can't just call them back whenever, it's not like you miss a call and you can call them right back, or when you're free. So, yeah.
Yeah, I had a good time painting last night. It was fun. I was glad I got to meet some of the newer members of the group that I didn't get to attend the last one. So I got to meet some of the newer women, and that was nice. And I got to, I created my own little drawing earlier in the day. I sketched a picture of Lizzie McGuire fizzing, and I wanted to paint it. So then I spent my evening painting that and talking with everyone. Joseph tried to call me in the middle of the painting night, and I was like, no, like, I'm still doing this.
Good for you. Look at you being like, nope, this is my time. Mm-hmm. And I was going to say, Paige did an amazing, like, listen, I cannot draw for shit. Like, I draw stick figures. And so when I see somebody doing like something awesome and I'm like, and it's arty, like artistic, I'm like, dang, that's good, because I know I have zero talent in that department and I can appreciate someone having talent. And I was like, Paige, like, just looked at a picture and drew this, like sketched it herself on the canvas and then painted it like amazingly. I'm like, the drawing itself was wonderful. It looked exactly like the Lizzie McGuire cartoon. And then the painting, as you were painting, I don't know if you finished or not, but as you were painting, like, it just started looking so good. And I was like, she even did like the bricks in the background, like the white bricks in the background, like her white bricks in the background. And it came out really good. Like, I know you may not be finished, but like what you had so far, like the drawing itself was awesome. I could never do that. So kudos.
Fun. I feel like I need to get into painting more. I feel like I talked about this on the pod one of the last times. I've been having issues with my meds recently, and like I don't even want to get into it because I'll sob if I talk about it, but it's been hard, and painting is one of the things that like makes me like turn my brain off. So
yeah, it's definitely like good you time, like for you to decompress and not worry about everything else that's going on, just kind of laser focus in on something that's very calming. So, yeah, it was really, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed painting, even though like I tried not to get frustrated with my painting because it's one of those number paintings and I was trying to get every little, like, I just pull out one color and I try to get every little thing. And then like there's dots that are like not even like the size of what I'm doing right now. Like they're tiny and you have to find like, where's the two? Where's the two? Where's the two?
It's hard.
And then I messed up the colors, but it's okay. Like I was just going with it. I was like, I'm having a good time. And it's a really great time to just kind of relax and, chill out. And I enjoyed it. And speaking of like, friends and friend groups and things like that, I know we all have friend groups that are not prison wives. And this came up in a conversation with a friend of mine. And I guess she went out last night and she was saying how hard it is to go out with, like, we're kind of in the middle. Like we're somewhere in the middle where it's like, it doesn't work going out with single friends because we're not single, right? But going out with friends that are couples is also hard because, you're always the if you want to call it like the fifth wheel, even though you have somebody, they can't go with you. So you feel single even with couples. So I was like, we're kind of in this like prison wife purgatory where we're like going out with our single friends is hard. And then going out with our friends that are married or our couples is also hard because you just feel like you don't fit in either place. And I think speaking of this, like, paint and sip, it's a great way to meet friends that are in this life. And I think it only shows how important it is to find good prison wife friends because they understand and they get it. And, I know it's not always easy to find people near you, but if you can find that friend group, I think it just helps solidify the fact that, you have somebody that understands what you're going through, that is married or is monogamous or not monogamous or whatever. Let's say committed to somebody incarcerated. And, I think those people just get it. Then they get, the feeling of feeling like, you're here and they can't be here with you, or I'm kind of single in essence, but I'm not. And so it's like hard for me to, I guess, get on that level with my single friends as well.
I feel like I'm the kind of person who just doesn't put myself in those situations. Like, for example, like I wouldn't go out with like a pair of my friends and their significant other, because for me, that would just automatically be setting me up for like an awkward time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I feel like I would be like, I'll just stay home. But I'm also the kind of person that's like, I would rather stay home anyway. So it's like, do you go have fun? Like,
yeah. Yeah, I think it's just hard to navigate if you are that person that does like to go out and hang out with people and see your friends and things like that. It's just hard. It's just, and then when they find out you are with somebody incarcerated, it's always a list of questions that are very intrusive, and you may not be wanting to talk about that. Like you want to, you may want to talk about your loved one, but not on the level that they're going. Like sometimes it's 0 to 100, like, well, how do you have sex? Like that's the first question that comes out of their mouth, and if you don't have family visits, then you can't sit there and explain that you get to have that time with them. It's just, I don't know. I just felt bad because I was like, I get it. Like I get that feeling. Like I love going out with my friends from high school and college, but they're all hitched up, and it's like
I go out with them, but I go out without their significant others.
I will say that does make it easier. That does make that easier.
Yeah, like I would just, if you go, because we're just like no bye, like
yeah.
It's
well, like I went out for my coworker's birthday, and it was all couples, and I was the only person that was without a significant other. And
I remember you talking about that.
It was just awkward. I mean, I had a great time. Don't get me wrong. I make the best of whatever situation I'm put in, but we did like an escape room and all that. So we went out for dinner and drinks, and we did an escape room, and it was fun. I had a great time. But and luckily my friend and her husband are very like friendly and very bubbly,
there
and
are
like they want to
that are like that would be okay to do things like that, because I know couples that are like that. But then there are also couples that have no idea how to act like that or how to
And I also got this another couple that same night. I got the cold shoulder from, like, I was a pariah in the group. You know what I mean? So granted, I didn't really know them. That was my first time meeting them, but it was just you feel. I don't know. It's like I just like to. I call it a prison wife purgatory. I mean, it's just like you can't win either way, But yeah, it's just all about trying to find a way to navigate that. And I think and she was, I think she feels very blessed to have a friend group where she can come back to that understands how hard it is to go out with couple friends and how hard it is to even go out with single friends sometimes. So, because they're looking for something different, whereas your couple friends are together, and then it's like you feel lost in the sauce because your husband can't be there and you feel kind of like the odd man out. So find those friends, ladies. Believe me, nobody will understand you. Like we always say, nobody will understand you like a prison wife will, for sure. So, all right. Well, welcome, friends. It's episode 6-7, as my students would like to say.
As Brody says, 6-7.
6-7. We are at episode 67, and this is A Prisonwife Podcast. And I'm your friendly host, Gigi here. And I'm here with my lovely co-host.
Your moody co-host, Paige. Hello.
Did she have a dose of Gemini this morning?
She doesn't have her meds, so she's honestly just ready to actually unwind. And, I just hope that I can stay away from people until I get my meds back in check, because I am ready to actually unwind.
You said you were ready to crash out.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is totally understandable.
Yeah.
And you probably feel like your emotions are all over the place.
Yeah, that's why I'm I just need to stay away from people, because the next person that really either triggers me or upsets me is going to get all this, and I feel bad.
Okay, well, I'll try not to trigger you. Let me know. I don't ever want to trigger you.
You're fine, though.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and before we get the party started, I do have to give a shout out to Beyond Bars Imaging, Paige's prison, not so prison photo fixer upper. She does a fantastic job of making your visit pics, or if you can't take pictures, bringing the two of you together in a very realistic picture. One of our prison wife friends, Claire, she did one for her this past week, and it was so phenomenal because she was like, we have pictures from before he went in, but I want something more recent, like something that looks like both of us now, and so she was able to put something together, and they can't even, and if you remember Claire from our past episode, she started our Prison Wife Summer Storytelling Series. She can't have physical visits, so all she has is video visits, basically. So by making that picture, I know it made her so happy. It was such a great picture. It looked so real. Like, it looked like they were taking a selfie together. Like, it's crazy. So if you ever need your pictures zhuzhed up, please hit a girl up at Beyond Bars Imaging. She is on Facebook, and I would suggest you go either there or the Grams. Go to Instagram, Beyond Bars Imaging.
For sure.
All right. Now are we ready to get this party started?
We are.
Okay, here we go. What up with that? What up with that? All right, it is time for What Up With That legislation. Paige, did you have anything?
I do. One of the bigger things that I don't know if you have this written down or not. As many of you probably have seen in the news, unfortunately, after nearly 35 years behind bars, both Eric and Lyle Menendez went before the California Parole Board for the very first time, and they were both denied by the parole board. The board said that both of the brothers still showed quote unquote antisocial traits like deception and rule breaking, pointing to past infractions like cell phone possessions. Because of that, they decided that both of the brothers were still considered a moderate risk to the public and our safety. Their next review could happen in 18 months, but otherwise it is a 3-year denial before they can try again. It will be in 18 months. They will go again before the board in 18 months. This is kind of just crazy, guys. I mean, I think a lot of this goes back to the DA that is in LA right now. These men, although the crime that they committed is terrible, no one is making light of that. You know, they did take 2 lives. They committed their crimes when they were barely out of their teens. You know what I mean? Decades later, they have now spent most of their lives behind prison bars, and you know, they've taken programs, they've been involved in programming, they've been involved in helping, you know, make the prison a better place. You know, on most accounts, they have tried to build a positive life behind bars, or as much as you can, you know what I mean? I guess it just begs the question, like, you know, at what point do we stop defining someone by the worst thing that they did, and we start looking at everything that happened after the fact? Yes. Should they have had cell phones? No, we know that no one should. Okay, we know.
Yeah.
But also, let's talk about who brings those cell phones in, because it's not the visitors. You know what I mean? I can see how a board can argue that might be a moderate risk of not following rules, but like, especially, I think one of them, like Eric's was from like 2014. You know what I mean? It's like, look at him from this point on. And you know what I mean? As soon as he gets out of the doors, I think I saw it was Carly's status on Facebook. It was like, as soon as he gets out, he's going to be given a cell phone. Why do I care? You know what I mean? Like, yes, I understand there are rules, and rules are made to be followed inside of prison. I'm not dumb. I'm not, you know, saying that they should just be able to do whatever they want inside of there. But I am saying that we need to be able to look at it as a full picture. You know, California's parole system is tough. If you're labeled anything above a low risk, you aren't going to get parole. It's supposed to be about rehabilitation and second chances. And if someone spends decades trying to change, I don't see how just one cell phone can just completely wipe all of that away. Like, where is the weight of things? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do we believe in redemption, or is parole just another word on paper for high profile cases? You know,
I agree.
We have to start
I'm going to
somewhere.
play. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to play devil's advocate, because I saw, you know, when the decision came out, I saw Prison Wives for it and I saw Prison Wives against it. So
That'll be it. It'll
I
happen all the time.
yeah, and I understand this is a high profile case. I do think that parole boards look at the type of infractions that people have. Like you said, if you have a cell phone write up or anything like that, especially like like here in Louisiana, if you have that, you're never getting parole. Like, you will never, like, they will use that against you. It could be 20 years ago, and they will still bring that up and say you can't follow the rules.
Well, same here.
Yeah. And I feel like they also use that as a way to keep you from getting parole. So, you know, no matter how much good work you do, like say you have a mess up 20 years ago, they're going to hold that over your head versus, and like you said, that kind of goes back to, you know, even though they made a mistake, and maybe like when they first got there, they made a lot of mistakes. I know my husband did. His write-ups are 20 something. He hasn't had them in 20 something years. But when he first got there, he didn't know the rules.
Same with Joe.
And he was testing the waters.
He broke all the rules.
Yeah. So to hold that, granted, I know they were in there since the 90s, and a charge or a write-up from the 2000s probably doesn't look great. But at some point, I think, you know, if you look at the last 5 years of their body of work, I think that really shows you what they're capable of doing out here in the real world. And if they're not following the rules 5 years up to their parole date, then maybe, yeah, okay, I can see why. But if this is something from 10, 12 years ago, I mean, it's hard to hold that over their heads.
I was shocked by Eric. I thought Eric would definitely. I thought there was a chance Eric would get out, but as soon as
he was the one that was up first.
As soon as I saw Eric's denial, I knew that Lyle wasn't getting it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you said Lyle has a more colorful jacket than.
And from, like, Joseph is incarcerated in their prison. He knows a bunch of guys that know them and have been with them, and he's heard through the grapevine that one of them, I don't want to put labels on either of them, but one of them is a lot more involved in programming than the other. Okay. So they're definitely not the same. From what I understand.
And we also, I'm going to say this too, because I told you I'm playing devil's advocate. I also want to say that, they murdered the people that enabled and did a lot of abuse to them.
Sexual abuse.
This is not, this is not just, I just want to, unalive somebody. This is trauma, abuse. I mean, we're talking about deep-seated issues and roots of where this is coming from. And I feel like, it's okay for, someone to be a sexual abuser and hold positions and titles, but God forbid, somebody try to end their own abuser, like by ending their own abuse, because that's when you're in that traumatic state of mind, that seems like the only option available sometimes.
Especially if like your family has money, and like the more we learn about all these people who have money and their the weird things they like and stuff, like the more I just like, I wasn't in his situation, so I don't know
Correct.
what he had to go through and the way he felt, none of us were.
And sometimes you feel desperate and you feel like that's the only, solution to your problem. And I hate saying it like that, but, being someone that has been sexually abused myself, sometimes the only option I saw at one point when I was in my teenage years was ending my own life. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say that right here, right now. I'm being straight up with you guys. I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody. Nobody would believe me. And I could feel like his family all knew about it, but they did nothing to help these guys, these young boys.
It's all about shame and shaming the person who is the victim and making them feel like they are, wrong, or they are the one that is like bad, or like you're the one that has a problem, like,
or you're making this stuff up, like you're making, like, this can't be true, that's that's your dad, you can't be true about that, that's not true, and just dismissive. Even so I understand probably a little bit of their, I don't know all of it, but I do understand the mental like thought when you're young like that. You don't think about the consequences. You just think about how can I get myself out of this situation.
Your brain isn't big enough to think about it in the big sense of everything. Like you're literally just like, how can I make this feeling go away right now?
Yeah. So I feel for them. I also understand, if they have a colorful jacket, that could deter someone from anyone from getting parole. It doesn't matter if it's Lyle Menendez or, Joe Exotic or, whoever, whatever incarcerated person is going up for parole. It doesn't matter, the case. It just, they look at all of the things. And I know also that a lot of parole boards also deny the first time, like that they come in being like, no.
I have a really, I mean, I hate to say I have high hopes because God forbid it doesn't work, but I would be really, really shocked if Eric didn't get out this next time he goes back. But there's all this drama now. I follow Tammy on Twitter, who is Eric's wife, and apparently all these transcripts and audio and stuff is getting leaked from the parole board meeting, and it's like nutty. Like, and they're leaking pictures of them that like they shouldn't be, of the men, like to like news sources and stuff. And she's like, what is going on?
So y'all's paroles hearings are not public?
No.
Okay. See, ours are YouTube live streamed.
Yeah. I'm sure you can pull transcripts and stuff after the fact, but they like the whole thing. It was a whole day thing. And like, apparently the media has like sound bites of it.
Wow. And they're not supposed to have it as of right now. Like, it was very early on that they had it.
From what I understand.
Well, all we can do is hope that, they go the second round and the next 18 months to 18 to 24 months, whatever it is, they keep a clean record, continue programming, do what they need to do, keep on the straight and narrow, and show the parole board like they are changed completely.
Yep.
All right, I have something from a local Oklahoma news station. This came out Thursday, August 14th. A new filing, our friend Richard Glossop out of Oklahoma on death. He was on death row formerly. A new filing says that Richard Glossop should be released. Judge recuses. So it says new court doc argues Richard Glossop's legal team should be granted his release, claiming a binding agreement made with the Oklahoma Attorney General Genter Drummond that prevents a new trial. So then the judge recused himself after this filing, apparently. So I know the attorney.
It was a female judge. If it's
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I know the attorney general has gone back and forth with releasing him, not releasing him, and all of this stuff. And I just don't understand, you know, and they're coming up with like bogus new charges to add. It's crazy. So I hope that, you know, it's one thing like, and we see it here. I'm seeing it here in Louisiana too, because with Jimmy Duncan's case, the state doesn't want to admit that they messed up or, you know, they're wrong. And to release this person would be a detriment to society when clearly this person is not a threat at all.
Clearly you have
they might actually be factually innocent.
You
know what I mean?
People speak up from the crime who have said that they lied about seeing him there. So it's like, so what's up? What now? That doesn't matter now? Because it mattered before when you sentenced him.
Yeah, and it's just very crazy that attorney generals and DAs can get away with this kind of stuff to keep people incarcerated.
It is definitely a thing that happens down in those southern states more so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we're seeing it right now happening here with Mike's best friend, who was found factually innocent by a judge and is still sitting on death row being told he is a threat to everyone in Louisiana and this country, and he should be put down, basically. Dude is factually innocent. The evidence was found to be bogus and manufactured against him. So I just feel bad for Richard's wife and his family and, you know, everybody having to go and deal with all of this, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's just... And I hope that he can get.
And when they move him for those court hearings and stuff, like he's in the county jails, and it's harder for her to go and see him. And they will like block them off from seeing each other. And think she's on board to take her bar. She's waiting to get the results back. I hope she passes, because then they can't tell her shit about shit.
Yeah.
She can go and sit with him because she's an attorney.
Absolutely. Gosh, my fingers and toes are crossed for you, Leah. For real.
Well, I have one terrible thing before the good news.
Okay.
A Senate probe revealed that there was widespread abuse in the ICE detention centers. Who would have
Shocking.
thought? Who would have thought that? That's crazy. The U.S. Senate investigation, spearheaded by a wonderful Senator John Ossoff, has uncovered over 500 credible cases of abuse within ICE detention centers just since January 2025. This is spanning from physical to sexual assaults, neglect of pregnant women and children, and even a miscarriage reportedly caused by delayed medical treatment.
Oh, hell no.
The abuses occurred across facilities in more than 25 states, including DHS-run and privately contracted centers. These findings come amid a broader expansion of the detention system, raising alarms by human rights violations.
Damn.
So it's confirmed it's happening.
Oh, yeah. And these are the people that are supposed to be hardened criminals, right? Like that we need to get out of our country.
These are
clearly it's mothers, families, children.
pregnant women. These are people that are forced into these pay-for-profit prisons and are now having miscarriages.
Yeah, that's a shame. That
should be
disgusting.
That's a body on them.
Correct.
That's a human, right?
Yeah,
by their rules, right?
Pro-life.
I mean, that is a
Where's
body
your
that
pro-life
she
now?
delivered and miscarried.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get too angry about that. I'm
Look,
not medicated.
Can I also add in that Trump is now looking at prisons that have shut down in states. I think he's looking at one in Minnesota or Michigan. I don't know if it's Minnesota or Michigan. It's one of those.
I know they want to take one of the California ones too.
Yeah, they're looking at the closed prisons because, you know, for a long time we had started shrinking the prison population.
Yep.
Now he wants to refill these prisons with immigrant detainees, basically.
I have exciting news.
Okay.
Federal judge orders Florida to dismantle alligator Alcatraz.
Boom, boom, boom.
A federal judge has ordered the Florida Immigration Detention Center, known as Alligator Alcatraz, to be dismantled within 60 days. The decision came after environmental groups and the Makowski tribe challenged the facility's construction in the Everglades, citing violations to federal environmental law, habitat destruction, and threats to the groundwater and tribal land access. Florida Governor DeSantis, of course, has appealed, but the court's decision must be acted on immediately.
Wow.
Let's go.
Good for that. Good for Judge.
Get the fuck out of here, Alligator Alcatraz.
And if you get excited about people getting eaten by alligators, I'm questioning your morality.
Yeah, get
Just
fucking
saying.
help.
Yeah. Very much so. All right. That was it for What Up With That. Do you have, I know you don't have nails today, so I'm not going to put your nails on blast. I know you were very upset yesterday about not having your nails on because your last week's nails were so adorable.
I'm naked.
We'll be back with another nail segment next week. But I do want to do a quick tweet because I got something that I commented on I can't believe people are still commenting on this, but I guess they are. It was a comment left by someone that ended up following us. But they, made a comment about my video talking, my Scene TV interview talking about, me personally. And I had to shut that shit down. So here is my little tweet, little birdie, tweet. From Lala, she said, "Tell me about your childhood, especially your father. Thank you." So I proceeded to comment back saying, "Do not speak about my father. I am very protective of my family."
You're giving her what she wants when you say that. When you say, "Don't speak of my father," she knows she's triggering you.
Well, because it is triggering.
I know.
I'm very protective of my family. My father is a brilliant, amazing man. And I said, do not speak of my father. First of all, I said, do not presume to assume or judge me based on this. Do not also speak about my father, whom I adore and love and is a brilliant man. I have been blessed to not come from my parents are amazing people. Yes, they don't agree with me on this lifestyle, but they respect me enough to, when I'm at visit, come take care of my dog. They are there for me if I call them and have a flat on the side of the road. Like, my parents will drop everything for me. I love them. I love them immensely. Do not come from my father because of my relationship with Michael. That is complete. I mean, I know where she's going with this, that I have daddy issues.
Well, I get that
Huh?
I was just going to say, I get that all the time, especially when people find out that my father's dead. They automatically are like, "Oh yeah, well this checks out."
Yeah. But I get very emotional. I get very spicy, and I probably gave, like you said, her the response she wanted, but I had to shut that shit down immediately because nobody's going to speak ill of my father. Nobody. Because first of all, you don't even know my father. Second of all, I had one of the best childhoods growing up. I am blessed. I did not have a childhood of trauma, of abuse, of anything. Like, my parents were never like that. I love and respect them immensely. Yeah, we don't agree on everything. Yeah, we have different belief systems as far as political beliefs. But you know what? They are, I got to give it to my parents. They have come a long way with me on this journey. And I cannot stand when people presume to think that I am just this battered person that grew up terribly and that I have daddy issues. And I become very spicy when they start talking about my father like that. Like, I can bitch about my dad, and yes, my dad can be a lot sometimes, and he can be, alpha male sometimes. I get it. But that's my dad. I can say that. You cannot say that. You cannot say that my dad has issues. Absolutely not. Or I have issues because of my father. Absolutely not. So, sorry. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I had to shut that shit down real quick.
I get that all the time.
My question is this, Paige, because you're really good at this. How is a way to respond to that without giving them what they want, as you say?
So I would probably not respond to anything about my dad, because I think that if like someone is getting down to that level, all they want is a response from you. And I feel like, to me, because like anytime that I've had things like especially if someone is like, I post like a picture of Joseph and I, and then the next thing is like me posting something like about my dad, or it signals that he's dead or something. It's like, that's people who are like just like haters, like their instant trigger to be like, oh well, I'm going to also tie this in with this and be like, oh, well, this makes sense now. This is why you're with someone who's incarcerated. You've gone through some shit. Like you're troubled. And honestly, if anything, nothing I'm going to say is going to change their mind, because they're already ignorant enough to think that. So I'm not going to waste my energy to like go back and forth with them, because I have done that and it will ruin my whole day. So I just have to be like, you honestly, I feel bad for you, because I could never imagine commenting on someone's like stuff when their father has passed and saying things like that. Like, you've got stuff going on, and that's your karma.
Yeah. It just, I mean, I know it shows a lot about them as a person and maybe their misery, and they're projecting onto you to make themselves feel better. I get that part, which is why I made my comment and I moved on, but I wanted to talk about it because I know I'm that person. I will respond right away.
I used to be like that. I get it.
And I'm learning from Paige how to do this better. So I'm always like, okay, well, how could I have done that better? Like, I'm always asking myself that question. Like, I was protective daughter bear, and my father like I said, is an amazing man. I'm not going to let somebody shit on him. I'm not going to let anybody shit on him. Or shit on me through him, or however they want to manipulate the situation. But yeah, I guess I got very protective, and I said something right away.
It's hard when we first would post some things and they would go viral. It's so easy to jump and want to like just defend, and like your immediate. I mean, that was what I would do. I would like get sick. I would sit there and be like sick in our comments and responding to all of them, and it's like we're just driving ourselves crazy doing that, because they don't care.
Yeah. No, and I will say this: like, you look at anybody on the internet that posts anything. And if it goes, we're talking going viral, being over 100,000 views. If you look at some of the things that have over 100,000 views, somebody somewhere is going to say something ugly.
Period.
Like, somebody's miserable somewhere, and they have to get it out on the internet. So I know that that's going to happen. And now I'm like, whatever. Like, somebody commented on my comment on that MWI documentary on YouTube. They, somebody asked, well, where are they now? And I'm like, well, Michael and I are still together. And she was like, oh my God, that POS is going to kill you. Like, or whatever. I'm just like, I'm not even dealing
Whenever
with you.
people say that to me about Joseph, I'm like, oh, you're so funny. Like, because I promise, like, anyone I've been with before him would much sooner hurt me before he ever would. Ever.
Yes. Like I said, I was with somebody that should be incarcerated, like that should have been incarcerated in his teenage years, that had mental health issues, that clearly was a very abusive person and never, ever got a ticket or was sent to jail.
Because
he had a close call.
They have ways of getting out of it, or they know people.
He looked great on paper.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of, that was something we brought back from memory lane. This today, guys, is the day where we're 67 episodes in. And I know some of y'all are just now finding our podcast. A lot of you are saying like, I want to catch up so bad. I want to catch up so bad. And we did this on our Patreon a few weeks ago. And we want to talk about how Paige and I met and started this whole thing. And so we wanted to take a walk down memory lane today of how the Prisonwife podcast came about. So, do you want to start it, Paige?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, I like had seen Gigi, you have like one of those faces that I feel like, I don't know if it was just maybe similar to like the story of Joseph and I, like where like I see someone, because it happens not just with men, it happens with females too. Like people that are going to be in my life or like a significant part of my life, I like see them and I like know that already. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
Well, I would say this, Paige, you have very like strong intuition and psych. I feel like you do
yes,
have psychic
I
abilities.
feel like I do because like I always just know and I'm always right about those things and it's weird. But I always had that feeling about Gigi, and I would see her all the time. And like we were in like multiple like prison wife groups. Like I would be in the prison wife groups, but I would be like a silent lingerer in those because this was kind of more so towards the beginning of Joseph and I's relationship. And I was just like I was just kind of like in the groups to like look around, and I really wasn't trying to participate because a lot of them were like drama and stuff. So I was like, yeah, no thanks. So one of the groups that Gigi and I were mutuals in was in one where they were doing a little life or wife week type version of like what we do in our group now. It was actually ran by Gigi in this group. She was like doing it on her own and like being like, okay, let's do this. And I was like, this was the first time I was ever even going to participate in anything prison wife because I had never, other than joining groups, I was like not openly out there, like participating in things. So I joined this like life or wife week and I put my picture and like we interacted a little bit like that. But I think that that was kind of like the most of that. Like I don't think anything really came of that after that. But Gigi and I were friends on Facebook after that because I think I might have added you, which is weird for me because I don't add people, y'all. So I don't ever add people on my Facebook. Like I don't go out of my way to request people ever. I don't know. I'm just weird.
And I was going to say, and we would, once you did friend request me, we would kind of occasionally DM like passing here and there,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
About certain things. And then there was, I think, one post in one of the groups where you were talking about meds or something.
Oh, the fact that I had to get back. I think this was the time where Michael was going through
Yes.
the clemency process.
Yes.
And I had talked about mental health and how my doctor had put me on put me on Prozac basically to help, a very low dose, to help me get through the hopeless feelings that I was having at the time, to help stabilize my moods, I guess. Because I had gotten very depressed.
I think this was even before then because you hadn't been on it yet because you were considering it. You were like, I don't know if I want to.
Okay.
You were like, I
Okay.
don't like, you were like, I have this stigma around it. And I was like, hey, because I literally was the same way. And I was like, I feel I'm weird about that stuff too, but I literally just started it and it has made me feel a lot better. And you're like, okay, yeah. And then we were friends and I would see you post about Michael's clemency, and it was hard to see you post those things because you were very open and transparent and vulnerable about your feelings.
In a very dark place.
But hey, like I admire that in a way because, like, for example, like, okay, Joseph says he admires me because I can like I'll openly cry when he can't do that. But like, for example, you being able to be like that, like I don't think I could ever be like that. And I, in a way, admire that because you're getting your feelings out there and you're saying them and you're.
Yeah. I think it's also it's helpful for me too to express how I know it seems like, oh, here's Gigi on another Facebook rant, you know, or whatever, but it helps me expressing how I'm feeling in that moment. Like, you know, I felt like, please don't, like, because it's kind of fucked up because people were telling me it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And you know, like, God's timing. And while that's nice, I call it Pollyanna bullshit. Like, that's not what I need to hear right now. Like, that's the last thing I need to hear. And that would set me off. And so I needed to just get out how I was feeling. Like, you telling me to have hope, don't give up. And like, that's nice things to say. But when you're in that deep trench of despair, you just want somebody to sit with you and just hold your hand and be like, look, I can totally see where you, like, I can totally see why you're feeling the way you're feeling. And just know you're, like, even just saying, just know you're not alone.
Yeah.
You know, like, that is something that means more to me than somebody saying, in God's timing.
Yeah, I think one I sent you a few different messages during that time because I would like see you post different things and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I'm an empath already. And I like as my husband is not on death row, but he is life. And if we go through this process one day, I can only fucking imagine what it feels like. And like having to do it in a public eye, like it's in itself its own fucking beast. So I remember at one point I messaged you and said something about hope. And you literally said, you go, hope is just a woman's name.
That was my whole mood.
Gigi and I weren't even really friends at this point, too. She just responded, hope is just a
I
woman's
was sassy. Oh my gosh. What a bitch. I'm such a bitch.
I was like, but in a way, I was like, oh, I love this. I was like I felt for you. You know what I mean? Like I felt for you. And I didn't know what.
Yeah,
I remember I was like, I don't know what to say, and I don't have a good thing to say to you because there is nothing to say.
And to me, that was like the genuineness of, obviously you saying like, look, I'm speechless. Like there's nothing I can say to make you feel better. I know that, and, I know, like that to me is more genuine than somebody going in God's timing.
Yeah.
His will be done. I'm like, well, right now, like I was just livid. I was so hurt and in this really dark place. And that to me at that time, it's not the best time to say that kind of shit. When I come out of it, maybe that's a better time to say that, but not when I'm in the trenches, but what you said was so genuine and I just responded like a fucking bitch. Jesus.
It's okay. It didn't deter me, clearly.
Yeah.
I kept at it.
Yeah. I think the fact that we were so real with each other, so
I just felt your vibe and knew that you were just like a real person who just really needed someone to fucking listen or give a fuck. I don't even know how we started talking after, like what made us start like talking after that.
I think you were trying to you had a goal in mind of things you wanted to accomplish within the prison wife community.
Yes.
I know you were big in advocacy. I know you were big in, wanting to do nonprofit work and things like that. And I know you said, I want to start small with a support group.
Yeah.
I know that came up.
Yes.
And I was like, well, I've got experience. Like I was an admin for 6 years or 7 years in this group. And I was like, I have experience. Like I can do this, and I can help you. So, we went on and we were so excited when we got 100 members in Love Within Walls. We just started doing little things to create this group. And I think by creating and working together with the group, we started building our, friendship. And I felt like, you were a genuine person because you were one of the few people that were actually in the trenches with me in that moment. And I needed that. And I think you saw that, like she needs to focus like she just went through something really hard and she needs something to help her focus her attention because, being an admin and a support group was my focus. Like that's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy helping people. I'm a teacher. I enjoy being a nurturer and helping people. So that is my my God-given talent, if we want to call it that. And so that's where I shine and that's where I thrive. And I think you saw that and you were like, she's in this dark place. So let's see if I can maybe, even if you didn't intentionally do it, maybe it was subconsciously, like seeing, well, maybe I can get her to help me and maybe we can do something to help her, help each other. And you helped me get through that hard time. And because it was right after that time, I want to say. It was like October of 2023 that we started talking when Michael was going through his clemency process.
It's so crazy how that...
Yeah. How it went from just passing through. Like we would just... I feel like before 2023, we would just send each other a little DM like, oh my God, I saw this. That's cute. Or, oh my God, this. Like it was just very like surface level. And then I think once I went through that hard period and you were there for me, like nobody else really was. I mean, I'm not saying people weren't there for me. People were there for me, but to be there on that level of empathy and understanding and knowing what it's like to go through this. And so that's why I always give my props off to MBI's lady couples because I can't even imagine going through the arrest, the trial, the searches, all of it. Like the indictments, all those things. I couldn't even imagine going through that because to be honest, I still, it's what, 2025? We're getting to the second half of 2025. And we're almost 2 years later. I still have not watched Michael's clemency hearing. It's on YouTube and I still have not watched it.
I don't blame you.
Nor do I want to watch it. But, and then there's part of me now, it's like, maybe I want to watch it. And then I'm like, nah,
No, don't.
nah, I'm not going to go back there. But yeah, I think being in those trenches allowed us to connect on a deeper level, whereas before it was just kind of surface. So, Paige came to me, we created this group, and then I want to say it was like January, it was like December, we started talking about doing a podcast.
We were talking about
and we
it
were just talking about it.
forever.
Yeah.
Like just back and forth. Because it's like, I mean, it's like what you do with your friends. You're like, oh, imagine if we had a podcast. You know what I mean? We could just run our mouths all day and,
Yeah.
talk about all these things. Like every time something would happen, we'd be like, oh my gosh, we could talk about this. This is so important. And then I think it built with that in combination with our group and seeing the things that people in our group were going through and dealing with, and then in combination the world, what was happening in the world, and how people and like news and media weren't picking up or really caring about some of these things. And we're like, I feel like we have to do this.
Yeah.
Like we don't have an
Like it's
option.
we need to voice this
Yeah.
because nobody's listening, So we talked about doing the pod for like 2 months, I want to say 2.5 months. And then one day Paige goes, oh, look at this cute little logo I made of the pod. And I'm like, done. Let's record. Like, I think the next weekend we were
Bought
recording.
mics. We went on Amazon, we bought our mics, and we were like, all right, let's go.
So yeah, it's just been a whirlwind, but in the best way. And I will say, like, Paige is my ride or die. I can go to her with anything. I even posted on, I know I shared it with you, that meme of like, I can go to my best friend with like unhinged thoughts and all she's going to say is, that's valid. Like, you found like a true friend when they can do that. And, yeah, that's how we met. That's how we started this podcast. And here we are. And we didn't think, I was just excited when we had 100 people in Love Within Walls. And then it was 300. We celebrated 300. Then it was 500. And then it became 1,000. And now we're like over 1,000. I want to say around 1,300. And now we're on episode 67.
Growing every day. Like I feel like we have like 10 requests every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's sad that I have to turn a lot down because they don't do what I need them to do with the questions.
I know.
But
So I know some people feel really weird about that. I've seen a post that was like on TikTok, someone talking not about our group, but they were talking about another group, how they were like they wanted me to send the name and all this information of my loved one. Just so anyone knows, if you ever join Love Within Walls, you do have to prove that you have an incarcerated loved one, and that's just a safety precaution for everyone in the group to make sure that you're not just someone who is nosy or a CO or someone who shouldn't be in the group. So we do confirm that you have someone incarcerated. After that, that's it. We don't care.
Yeah, and
I couldn't care less. I couldn't remember the name of your loved one after that or his face. Couldn't tell you. I don't.
And you don't even have to give us his name.
No, I don't
like,
care. Yeah.
I've had women like give me a screenshot of an email and they blink out the name and the DOC number or their incarcerated number. Like, you can do that, or you can put a little emoji over his face if you have a visit picture. Like, we're not asking for, blood type. Like, we're really not. If you're firstborn, no. Like, we're not asking that. We're asking, do you have a loved one incarcerated? And the only reason, people get upset about it, oh, this is a violation of my privacy and all this stuff. And I'm like, it's not really. You can make it as private as you want to make it. And the only person that's going to see it is one admin. Literally. Just one other person.
I feel like in like I don't want to like I'm not making fun of anyone because there are probably prison wife groups where like you do submit your loved one's info and they do creep and they do things like that. But that shit is not going to happen here. You know what I mean? Like it gets sent and it's done. Like
I don't have time. Believe me, I don't have the time to creep. I don't have the time to creep. And listen, the reason we do that is because we have had Department of Defense, COs, and wardens try to join our group
multiple times.
Undercover. Yes. So to protect our members and to protect you, that's why we ask for it. Mm-hmm. So, And like I said, you can make it as private as you want. You can scratch out the name and the DOC number on your JPay or your GTL email or whatever, and you're good. Like I don't even need to see a picture of him. I really don't. You know what I mean? So yeah. But yeah, going back to our journey, I think I think we met under very dark circumstances. I mean, really connected through dark circumstances, but look how beautiful our friendship is, and look how amazing all the amazing things we've been able to accomplish and are still planning to accomplish in the future together. So
we were meant to meet
yeah.
and create all these things.
Yes, ma'am. You're my other half.
You're my other half.
Aww. Love you.
Love you.
All right. Well, that was our trip down memory lane. And now it's time from the Everglades to get a call. Speaking of the Everglades, we're getting a call from our boy, Florida, Fred.
Hello. This is a prepaid collect call from
Freddie.
an inmate at Florida Correctional Institution.
All right, FCI down in the Everglades over there. We have one, so that you guys know, Florida Fred gives us a ring-a-ding-ding when it's time to answer questions and comments that we have. You can also always call us and leave us a voice message like Florida Fred sometimes does, and leave us a speaky pipe. So that's all on our link tree, and then we'll put up a questionnaire on our Instagrams, usually Friday or Saturday, depending on when we film. All right. I do have one. It's like a question and I guess a little background information from one person. This Mom Life 5. She asked the question, how are you getting your emotional needs met? And she said, all we do is fight. My husband says his programming should meet my needs. I don't know how his programming should meet your needs because that programming is supposed to be for him.
Yeah, I got questions
don't know
about that.
what. Yeah, but I guess if we want to answer, if you're fighting, how are you getting your emotional needs met?
Communicate. You gotta be able to communicate with these relationships because that's all we have, especially when we can only communicate on phone or via text message. Like, you have to be able to communicate without screaming, and you have to be able to set boundaries and communicate what it is that you need with your person, or else it won't work. Because unfortunately, in this relationship, it can't be just like a give, or someone like yourself, it sounds like might get burnt out, because that's no one should just be getting yelled at, and like just because he's programming doesn't mean anything about you. You know what I mean? Like that's not, you're not there.
Yeah. I mean, he can discuss what he's learning through his programming. Maybe it might be how to handle situations like this, how to handle disagreements and things like that. But and he can inform you, and maybe he can give you a strategy that he's learning, but through his programming. But I'm not understanding how his programming is supposed to make you feel emotionally like your needs are emotionally met. Mm-hmm. That part that's a disconnect that I'm not getting. I'm going to kind of just piggyback on what Paige said about communication. And listen, I'm a person that I have to sometimes step back for a second because I do get very passionate. I do get very heated. And I know that about myself. And I have to say, okay, let me process for a second. Give me 5 minutes. And then I'll think about how I want to respond to this. And then we'll have this conversation. Like, I'm not going to just sweep it under the rug. And I will say for a lot of my life, that's what I did because it just seemed easier. And I will say that is the worst way to handle a situation, because when you sweep things under the rug, at some point it all implodes, and it can be detrimental to your relationship. And then you feel resentment and all the other negative feelings that you usually get. So I would definitely have conversations, even if you're arguing, even if you disagree. It's good to talk it out. Mike and I don't always agree on everything. Yes, he's my best friend. I run to him and I tell him all the things. And, when we have a negative conversation, that's when I go, more. I shut down sometimes, but I know that we're going to have to talk about it. So, being like, okay, like you may not want to talk about it right this minute, but just know I'll give you whatever amount of time you need, and establishing that setup and that boundary and saying, we're going to talk about this because we need to talk about this. If you need time to collect yourself, I get that.
I don't do yelling though.
Yeah.
If Joseph yells at me, click.
Oh my God. If I hung up on Michael like 1 or 2 times, and he called me right back and he's like, hey, we don't do that.
No, we don't hang up either. So that's why it's like, if I were to hang up on you, that's how you know you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah. So I would just, honeys, I'm sorry you're going through it with your loved one. To get your needs, your emotional needs met, you're going to have to walk through the gritty stuff so that way you can get those needs met and can get that validation and can have those conversations to strengthen your relationship rather than feel burdened and resentful of not having and not talking it out. And I hope that things get better for you guys. I do. All right, Paige, that's all I had for today. We're just over an hour. I can't believe it.
Yay. A little shorter one today for our longer
we don't have
ones.
Yeah. That's okay. Last week was over 2 hours, so yeah.
Give them a break.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for listening and being a part of our Potty Pod, our little dream. If there's anything that we can do to help you guys, please don't hesitate to reach out. And, be kind. And if you need more support, I'll always say, come join our group. It's a very supportive group. We have monthly meetings where you can just come and kick it and hang out, craft, do whatever you want to do.
If you don't want to talk, whatever. You can sit on mute.
Yeah, we have people that just come and listen. And I was so excited because one girl last night was brand new and she's like, I just didn't know when to jump in. And then she jumped in, or somebody asked a question and she jumped in right away and was like, it was like we had been friends for like weeks. You know what I mean? Like I felt like I knew her. So
I was glad she joined.
Yeah. So come and join us, guys. We'll be here to catch you when you're feeling down and lift you up and celebrate with you all the good things that are happening in your life. So join Love Within Walls. Just make sure you answer the questions, agree to the group rules, and check your message request inbox, please. All right, Paige, are we going to have a meme this week?
We will.
Okay. We wanted to do that meme where it's like, what's that guy? Chris something. Captain America.
I don't know Marvel shit.
Chris. And he's like this, and he's got the nails, and he's looking, and it's like when you run to your man, because he's your best friend, and you tell him all the tea. Like, that's one that we were working with last week, because we were like, oh yeah, that's us. Like, we run and talk about all the teas as soon as we get it.
We do.
Well, all right, guys, we hope you have a wonderful week. Happy hump day. And, be on the lookout for us for a meme of the week. And we will see y'all next week. We hope you have a wonderful holiday weekend. Labor Day. Bye, my friends. We love you.
Love you.
Besitos.
This is for the ones who love through the distance, for the ones who stay solid while time keeps ticking, for the ones who hold it down but never lose themselves. This is for the prison wife. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go, I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head. They don't see the late nights, letters on the table, fighting through the system, just trying to stay stable. They don't see the count days, they don't feel the time crawl. They just see the sentence, but they don't see the love at all. Yeah, I made the vow and I stand 10 toes. Still got my life, still got my goals. I hold it down cause I choose to stay. This love got walls, but it don't got shade. Don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, but I'm still my own. Made my own moves, still stand on my throne. They think I'm just sitting here wasting my days. Nah, baby, I've been building while counting the days. I ride for my love, I ride for my king, but I ain't no fool, I handle my biz. I ain't weak, I ain't lost, I ain't throwing my worth. I hold it down cause I know what it's worth. Through the letters, through the calls, through the gates, through it all. Love don't break, love don't fade. I'm still here, I'm still brave. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go. I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head.
Don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change.
Still don't break,